All right, guys, this little lock is a challenge lock from a police officer from the Lock Picking Patrolman. Here we go. And this is his 9th challenge lock. It's only the first one he sent to me, and he calls this one the Room Brawl. And in the note that came with this, he explained why. We'll take a look in just a minute. The bitting on this thing is awesome. 6-pinner. It works beautifully. I just tried it a second ago. No snags, nothing. So, valid challenge lock. Nice and wide open, just the way I like them. I can put anything I want inside of there. I don't see any other weirdness on here. No side pins or anything installed on it. He calls this one the Room Brawl because, we go from the note here, I'm just going to read it. 10 years as a sworn LEO has taught me many things, but one pertaining to this lock is that despite training and experience, a Room Brawl still hurts the next day. So I think that's kind of an intimidation factor, letting me know this is going to be painful, and it probably will, but hopefully it doesn't turn into another whipped video. I had enough of those lately. And you might think that I would feel that that's a bad thing, and I really don't. I actually think that's a really good thing, because probably up to about a year ago, it seemed like every challenge lock coming in here was like a Schlag with maybe some serrated pins and a couple of threaded chambers. And over the last year, things have really improved. And now the quality of the locks are better. The innovation that's going into them is so much better. And you guys are picking up a lot of experience in high tolerance locks, paracentric keyways, and tricky bitting. So we might very well see some of that. I'm looking for a tensioner. That ought to work. And as I look at the bottom of this keyway, you guys can see there's a couple of gouges on the bottom, and those are not from me, but it's clear that somebody, when you try to pick it in the clockwise direction, that big groove is lined up perfectly, and if you try to pick it in the counterclockwise direction, that little groove on the right. So somebody's clearly spent some time picking, or at least trying to pick this. I will pick it in the most popular direction. Let's try going clockwise, and I will grab this guy, little 25 thousandths. It's a wide open keyway, so I'm going to get a nice thick pick so I get the best possible feedback from those pins. I suspected there were 6, and I do feel 6. And I also don't feel any super springs, thank goodness, because I am tired of breaking pigs. All right. Even though the lockpicking patrolman is a police officer, I'm going to force him. You know what I'm saying? We all know how well forcing works out when you do it with cops, but I am going to do it anyway. And probably the guys from my office are going to show up later, knock me down, zip tie me, put me in the backyard naked, and put cold water on me to teach me a lesson for even thinking like that. All right, there we go, pin 4. Nice click, very high. Oh, that was pin 3, and I just barely touched him. I know we have a little bit of a fault set, but let me go ahead and... I should have put that on there to begin with. We do have a fault set right now, but if it goes any deeper, we're certainly going to see it. That was pin 3, minor click. Pin 6 is binding. Ooh, nice click on him, but no fault set. That was 5. And nobody else is binding. Let me go back and check 6. There we go. I just touched 6 and I felt a slight turn on the core. Felt it with my thumb, but it really doesn't show up there, does it? I think that's pin 3. Everything up front is springy. No, everything's springy. Oh, that was 3 again. Little click. That was 3 again. He's not really doing anything though. I think maybe my tension is a little too light to hold him in place. What I'm going to do is hold light tension and just rake it, because I might have overset him. I didn't feel any give, so... Oh, there we go. Pin 1. He's binding. Little turn on the core. He's still giving me a little, very slight counter rotation there. Keep forcing him. And I felt a second click, and it looks like we have more of a fault set, and it's really not very much, but 1 stopped giving me counter rotation. I'm on 2 now. He's giving me a little counter rotation. Now we do have, well, for this lock, pretty good fault set. 2 is still giving me counter rotation. And there we go. All right, something about pin 2. It gave me 2 stops, 2 clicks, and the second one is one probably, and again, I'm sticking my neck out here, probably a T-pin of some kind. Let's go ahead and take this guy out of here. And get this out of the way, keep the key, move all that stuff out, and get us a pinning tray. Take a look, see what Lock Picking Patrolman has come up with. All right, we know the key works, so I'm going to go ahead and lock him back up. And I will need flips. The Lock Picking Patrolman, for once, someone that sent a lock tell me what to do with it, for sure. Usually I send them back, unless there's a note telling me otherwise, like keep it or give it away. I almost always give these away. Let me find a good follower here. So he included the note, give it away, pass it along to somebody, and that is what I'm going to do. That one will be perfect. Okay, let's get that key in there. How many of you guys think I ought to shim it? We know it's got 1 T-pin, right? So, rather than have to put up that banner that says, stand by for an emergency, which I've put up once too often, I'm going to slide it. He slid in very easily, not like there's anything nasty holding him. All right, here we go. Okay, I don't see any weirdness here. The pins, in fact, look in 1, 2, 3, and 5. They look a little small. There's a lot of wiggle in there. Not there and not there, but for sure these guys have a little extra wiggle in them. A little slot built in. I don't know if that's a oh, they're threaded. 1 and 2 are threaded. Number 3 is undercut. 4 is normal. 5 is normal. 6 is undercut. That's why we had it. Okay. Standard. Standard. Nope, spool, sorry. Standard. Reduced diameter tip, almost like a T-pin, and that's it. And there we go. We get a little bit better look. You can see the threads in 1 and 2, undercut in 3, 4 and 5 are normal. And the last one has had a little slip right there when we're doing the undercut, but it's still there. Well, when you're working with a 12-volt Dremel tool in the front seat of your cruiser, yeah, that's about all you can hope for, guys. Give him a break. All right, I took the shim out. Let's see what he's got inside of here. All right, we have a homemade serrated. Number 2. Very ASA-like, but it is also homemade. I thought the middle, that was a solid chamber. That is actually it's like a barrel pin with a couple of serrations right down the center of it. Okay, number 3, what's he got in there? It looks like a commercial spool. No, take that back. There's what we're looking at right there, guys. Half a mushroom. And Come out, come out. He's caught in something. I'm going to ruin the spring, but I'll replace them. I have others. And my thought is that he's caught up in another spring that's been jammed in the bottom. But I don't think that's true. Nope. All right, that one's on me. Apparently that spring got caught when he put this in there. So the little spring tip is caught up in the side of that somewhere. No biggie. It happens. But I thought it was something exotic. All right, number 4. Standard. And number 6. Commercial spool. I'm not going to ruin this spring if he doesn't pop right out of there. Yeah, there we go. Oh, it's a double spring. That's what I was looking for in number 3. Didn't quite pan out the way I planned it. And number 5. He had that narrowed end pointing up towards the core, so it's a reduced diameter. It would have given you a false set and acted like a spool, but of course it's not a spool. You would have just ultimately kept trying to overcome a false set, and then you would have just hit the shear line. So I don't really know how he would have improved security. And that's what we got. All the springs are the same except number 6, who had a doubled up spring. No other surprises. Looking down in there, I don't see any threaded chambers. Nope, all standard. So the only magic was right there in that core. That's the only magic. So let's line up and see how he planned this. How did he plot this? So we have serrations in 1 and 2. And in 1 and 2, we have nice sharp edges on both of these pins. So they would have snagged up doing exactly what they're supposed to. Number 3, we had an undercut, and he thought ahead there too. On the key pin, we had a little piece that probably would not have gotten caught since he would have remained perfectly aligned by the cylinder. So he really would not have a chance to get into that chamber. However, this guy certainly would have. He would have grabbed right in that undercut just the way Lock Picking Patrolman planned. These two are standard, so we had a standard pin, and then we had this rounded dude right here. No, nothing special there. And then number 6, we had undercut on both sides, and again, we had a commercial spool. If I can not drop him. And he would have done exactly what he's supposed to do. He grabs nicely on that side. And also that side. So excellent. Somebody really thought this out as they're riding around in their cruiser shoving donuts down their gullet, right? Oh, now I know I'm going to be zip-tied in cold water. Anyway, guys, appreciate your time. Stay safe. Stay legal. Lock Picking Patrolman, thank you, sir. Attempt number 9, but 1 for me. Great job, sir. Thanks.